So I bought Assetto Corsa Competizione for the PS5, and I don't like it. That's the end of my review, pretty much. It's basically you're unable to push the car. It drives like iRacing in simple terms, if you've ever driven in iRacing. And I'm going to go on to the setup. Current setup, this is tire pressures that I've got. These are the lowest it'll go without giving you the low tire pressure warning out of the pits. Caster and everything. Caster is at a realistic setting of 5.5. I don't presume, I don't really know the suspension geometry of a real GT3 car, but default was 12. I'm going to go load up a default. This is the aggressive. The default is 12.5 degrees of caster. I think drift cars have around 9 degrees of caster. And then the camera, I don't know, the camera, it's all messed up. So I'm going to load my settings. These are my geometry settings. Electronics. Fuel strategy, which I have not touched. Mechanical grip. Dampers, which the front dampers, I'm going to talk about it real quick. They're not stiff enough, I think. Basically at this 11, the stiffest setting, they're still fairly soft for this very low spring setting. I don't know what to do with that information. Aero, with maximum rear wing that's adjustable per track. I'm having maximum slip issues where the car at maximum slip becomes uncontrollable, so I want the car to understeer more at speed. I put the maximum rear wing splitters at default. Ride height, I adjusted the rear ride height to maximum and the front ride height to around 1 centimeter, or exactly 1 centimeter lower than the rear. Going back to mechanical grip, the graphs on the four corners of the car show you the live reading of the suspension sag. The green line at the bottom being the top of the shock, the yellow line being the live reading of the suspension, and then the red line is the bump stop. If I adjust this setting, I can adjust, you can see the bump stop line, the red line, changes. And having the bump stop all the way makes the car really undrivable over curbs. I don't know exactly what to, I don't want to go too deep into this. I want to go and do another video for this anyway. And too shallow, there's no travel essentially. I think the default for the aggressive setting is 0, so basically riding on the bump stop. I have it at 5. And I've pretty much shown everything. I'm going to go and drive the car. So I have the display. I wouldn't normally run the display with a full-on LCD setting on the dash, but I have the display to show that my pedals are really broken. Right now it's flickering. It shouldn't be flickering. Let's see. And then sometimes the brake will drag, which I've talked about before, but it's a visual display of how broken my pedals are. In the bottom right hand corner, the brake is dragging. I'm not touching it. There. I'm driving slow on purpose because I'm looking at the pedals. So it's dragging right now, and I'm not on the brakes. So I have to dab the brake and then it goes away. Alright, so driving under the limit, the car feels like a car. It doesn't feel like an alien machine. But on the limit, I've never driven a GT3 car. I think I mentioned earlier, I don't know. But the cars that I have driven don't drive this way, which might be only the street tire experience. Oh, what am I trying to say? I may have only had street tire experience, but if GT cars really drove like this, I don't know if I'd ever want to drive one on the limit, because any amount of pushing the tire, I'm going to try to push it here, it causes it to really slide, and then I think it's a problem with the game, the feedback is kind of crappy, so that's me catching a slide right there. I've adjusted the suspension to, especially the dampers, to accommodate the tank slappy moments, where the car just wants to slide back and forth from left to the right, like that. So when it slides, you can't just catch it and then go straight. It has to sway back and forth for whatever reason. I'm going to try to drive fast now. So you can see my throttle pedals flickering. Oh, be deep on the brakes. Oh, and that flickering, I don't think it's so if I turn off the traction control, you can see the traction control light turning on and off. So I have it off right now when the red square is on. And it still does the throttle thing. See, there it goes. There's flickering again. So turn the traction control. I can't speak right now. Turn the traction control back on, because I don't have throttle feel with the broken throttle. So I want to try to overspeed a turn. This is a really good one to do it. I want to show the sliding. There it's sliding. There it flicks back over to the other side. And that may be a realistic thing, I don't know. But it does that a lot when you put it into a high-speed slide. I have auto clutch on because my pedal is broken. What am I trying to do now? I'll turn traction control back on if it is on. It's stuttering. I can't stop stuttering. Alright. It's very apparent that I haven't made a video in a while because I can't speak. Brake is dragging. There's a controllable slide, but I'm basically out of control on that slide. And it doesn't help that my wheel is broken. The game would definitely function better with at least a Fanatec CSL Elite or something with that much force feedback strength. Here's a slide that is controllable. Whoa, whoa, there it goes. Let's see if I can shell brake. Yeah, it's not too bad. Didn't downshift. At least the car doesn't go completely out of control on the brakes, which is a feature. I don't know if you call that a feature, but it was a feature of Assetto Corsa, the original, where the car would break loose on the brakes and it was uncatchable. So the car would just go into a slide and you counter steer and it'd either flick off to the outside of the turn or it'll keep on sliding and is pretty much uncatchable. So right now I have traction control at 2. ABS is at either one or two. This has taken me close to 3 hours to figure out how to drive this car and actually complete the track medals that you can see on the top right, which is just basically judges your driving, whether you're driving clean, not spinning out, and you have to do it for 4 laps. I couldn't complete 4 laps for 3 hours. I think that's pretty ridiculous. And now I have to drive basically very, very carefully. I can brake later there if I trail brake, but I'm afraid to trail brake. Yeah, that was a good trail brake right there. And decent. It wasn't a good... I didn't take that corner very well, but better than usual. Oh, there's an uncontrollable slide. And it just keeps on going all the way to full lock. And there's no feedback. It doesn't catch the slide on its own like a normal car. It doesn't catch it on its own, but it's not easy, I should say. Like I said, I've never driven a GT3 car. I've never driven on race tires except for in go-karting. So I wouldn't really know how this car should perform, but I just know that it's very, very difficult. Oh, there is one of those uncontrollable slides. Second gear for this turn. Oh, I should show my wheel settings. Options, controls, these are my wheel settings. I have 100% gain and force feedback because on the G29, at least with my broken wheel, there's pretty much no force feedback. It's very, very weak. Minimum force, that's, I think it's self-explanatory. I have it at maximum. Excuse me. Dynamic damping, I don't really know what it does. I've had it at maximum, I've had it in the middle, I've changed it every varying position. I've settled on 6%. It doesn't seem to do anything for my wheel. Maybe my wheel's not compatible. Road effects, I don't like road effects. There's not something I experience when I drive, at least not to a high percent. 2% feels right to me. So I have it at 2%. Maybe it could be maybe 3 to 4. 0 is, there's some wheel, like with my car, there's around, there's like 6 degrees of caster or something. And you can feel road camber and stuff if there's bumps in the road a little bit, but it doesn't jerk the wheel to the left or the right. So 2% is where I've kept it. Let's see, back to driving. Oh, at speed. There's a lot of grip on throttle, but when you reach maximum grip, it doesn't want to stay straight. It doesn't want to slide smoothly. I don't know how to explain it. The grip just falls off completely. There it goes. It's an uncontrollable tank slapper. The best thing to do is to just lock up the brakes or drag the brakes until you stop. There's no catching it. And this is the only track I've driven. I just got on it today, and I literally spent 3 hours just trying to get the car to drive the way I want. Oh, brakes are too late. I was driving a little bit slower. So I'm real confident getting on throttle because there's grip getting on throttle. But around these turns, when you're just near maximum slip angle of the tire, the car just becomes horrible to drive. And I'm driving David Perrell's livery and his character model because he's a cool guy, I guess. I don't know. I watch his channel, and it's cool that he's actually in the game. Which I think you should look him up. David Perrell. He does coaching videos. He helps develop this game. He stands by the physics based on what I mean, he's a real GT3 driver, and so there's nothing left to do but trust his opinion. But it's really difficult to drive these cars. The brake is broken. Anyway, I think the video's dragged on long enough. I'll do some more in-depth videos later. Till the next one.